What's up guys, this is part 2 of my series where I react to different barbers tutorials. This is part 2, so this is the part where I actually try it out on a client. So this was my first try on trying out this method, and this is what I got from it. So, side notes before I start is this client in particular was just someone convenient that I saw right after I did the video, so I just did it real quick. It wasn't exactly the same texture as the client on the tutorial, but we still tried it. Some things that are different are his hair's got strong growth pattern, so the way I parted it, I feel like maybe I parted it too high, but I just wanted to try out the exact same thing as the tutorial, so maybe I could have parted it lower, but that would have affected the fade. And also, yeah, he's got that super Asian hair where it sticks out, so when I try styling it after, I feel like a different haircut would have suited him better. Not too much weight maybe. And yeah, my client did still like the haircut. He liked the fade a lot, but yeah, usually I take about 30 minutes for a haircut, but this took a long time just because this is like one of my first times trying out this method. I think it took about like an hour and 20. But yeah, in this video I'm gonna explain how this barber's method is useful for, so let's get started.
Run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling.
Alright guys, let's get started. Okay, so this was my client's hair before. As you can see, I feel like he's got pretty stubborn hair, but we worked with it. He's got lots of dark spots on his fade, and also he's got that Asian hair that sticks out. So with that ridge being heavy, it was a bit harder for him to style. For cutting the top, it's pretty basic. I usually did this before anyway. Take a center strip and then go left and then go right. What I noticed actually in the tutorial is that he said to round it on the sides, but I kept it straight up. That's fine though, the client liked it. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a difference. Instead of keeping the top boxy, the tutorial actually told me to round it. I noticed that after I did this cut. So yeah, the top's pretty basic. And then the sides, just tried to copy what he did on the video. Try to find that natural parting, and then just did the same on the other side. What I found out with this method was it's actually good to start with the 2 open if you like your fades like more spread out. Usually I start with the 1.5, but yeah, you get way more depth with your fades if you do start with the 2 open. So yeah, that was pretty good. So I went ahead and did that. At the tutorial, he was flipping his comb, so it was the back of his comb pushing down the hairs. His hairs, look, is growing this way. It's very stubborn. I had to be super careful because if these hairs were too short, they'll just stick out. I couldn't go straight this way. I had to drop it down. Those are just some different things I had to do with this tutorial or this method or this haircut that was different from the tutorial. Just because, you know, one shape of a haircut's not gonna work for every head. That's something you guys will find out once you start cutting more hairs, is that you gotta contour it to different types of head and different textures. There's lots of yeah, you learn as you go, don't worry. So yeah, even this part of the haircut alone, I already took a long time. I did that 2.5. I had to be super careful because this is my first time cutting his hair also. Okay, now this. He did this on the tutorial where he flipped his clipper and then set his first guideline with it, or his second guideline. The 2 was the first. Sorry, I'm blocking it. But I did not like this at all. I felt like I didn't have control over it because I'd never done this before. So yeah, and also you go underneath it with the trimmers anyway. I feel like this is what I usually do. I take my clipper 0 and then I go this way instead of flipping it like this. This is way easier for me. But I still tried it. I didn't like how it felt at all, and then I just went back to how I usually do it. And then yeah, see, I tried it. It still works. It's just, yeah. And then I just balded it with the trimmers. If you are trying to save time, I would just go straight to the trimmers. Just make sure you don't go down this way. Because look, I'm pretty much going up to the line anyway, so there's no point of going with the clippers first and then balding. Usually I bald with the shavers at the end, but this method is very good if you tend to get lost. It's nice to set your bald guideline right away, or make that bald at the bottom right away. This makes sure that, you know, you don't overdo it or don't do it enough. You still know where your last guideline was. And then I did the lever open, and in the tutorial what I noticed was he doesn't flick that much. He tries to just, you know, set the guidelines in place. He doesn't like flick too much. So I'm trying to minimal my flick. I'm more of a flick barber, I would say. That's how I blend out my fades, is by flicking, by that C motion. In his tutorial, I feel like, yeah, he didn't flick enough, or he was just minimalizing it. So yeah, look. So he definitely did a higher fade. See, look, he doesn't flick that much. Very small movements on his clippers. It's not like very up and down. He's just doing it with his wrist. Very small movements, and then he just faded that out. So yeah, I'm trying to do what he's doing here. Just trying to fade out that bottom line. Okay, now from this step, he did one open, trying to flick out into the two, and that creates that depth of the fade. So I was trying to do that. See, all these hairs are just laying nicely. I feel like for me, I had to be super careful because these hairs are gonna stick out. See, look, they're already sticking out when they're dry. I had to keep wetting them just to keep them laying down. So see, I'm trying to minimize my flick. I usually flick a lot, but yeah, that's me already minimizing it. This kind of just smoothen the blend already from your lever open into your two open. And then all you need to do is finish it off with the 0.5. As you can see, it's very dark in these areas. He's got little bumps there, but I had to do a lot of detailing with this method. I feel like, yeah, when you're prioritizing the fade, you have to do a lot of detailing. I'm still going at it with the one I'm still going with the one here, just trying to smoothen it out up until it looks like this. So this is what it looks like without even going with a 0.5. This was his without a 0.5, and then this is when he started using 0.5. Yes, this method takes a bit longer, but I feel like if you're not fully booked back to back, this method is very good to do to get those nice fades on your portfolio. I would definitely do this if you're trying to get that extra blurry fade for your Instagram. If you don't have a next client waiting, definitely try this out. So yeah, now I did the 0.5. After the 0.5, I feel like the fade's there. I definitely think this part looks lighter just because of his hair growth. But yeah, from this angle it looks dark. So the density, because of hair growth and just his hair texture, it's not the same as the tutorial. But yeah, I was just using the corners technique, but I didn't have the smaller comb like he did, like this smaller comb. But it's definitely a good technique to detail the dark spots. And then for the weight, I was just freehanding. See, a lot of detailing, and then lined it up, and then more detailing. So I spent around like 15 minutes just on detailing, and you know, it still could do work, still could get better. But that just shows how it doesn't matter how long you take on a haircut, your haircut could always be better. Just a matter of what the client values more. So you know, client could be valuing your fade, your top, your texture on top, the shape, how fast you take, convenience, like, is your barbershop convenient for them? All of that are the values clients might have. And yeah, if they value fade so much, spend that extra time detailing. There you go. I feel like this was the best I could do for his texture and without ruining the shape too much. And then yeah, I just did the other side real quick too. Same exact things. Then yeah, I feel like the growth pattern on this side is a bit different. As you can see, it's going this way. So I just had to work with that. So his hair was very thick. As you can see, he's got that stubborn Asian hair. You don't even want to go up. So I think I did a little bit of texturizing. Then yeah, pretty much this was the final product. This was my very first try. I also tried this method later on different clients, different hair textures, and I'm actually liking it. I like how the fades turn out. It does take a little bit longer, so I do have to go faster because I do book 30-minute clients. But yeah, definitely gives out those Instagram fades. Let me know how I did on this first ever episode of trying out different barber tutorials. Obviously, the guy I react to is the master of this. This is what he does. He gives blurry fades all day, every day. But let me know how he did. Hopefully give you insights on his method, and comment down below which tutorials you want me to do next, and I'll see you guys on the next video.